Hello again, friends, and welcome to another segment here on Doc G's Wine and Spirits Review. We're now into the month of April, and today I wanted to take a little time to welcome you to spring and start off our month of April with a cocktail that I have not featured yet in all of the segments that I've done, believe it or not. Well, I have featured the cocktail, but this is a riff and a different color of that cocktail, if you will, which I'll share with you in just a moment. But I first of all like to say welcome and cheers. Just a note about what I'm sharing in my glass now. It's not the star of the show today. I just had it left over and I needed something to wet my whistle. We had this with dinner last night. It is a blend of Verdejo and Viura. It is a wine from Spain, and kind of the reason that I brought it here is I got it at Trader Joe's. For those of you that have a chance to go to a Trader Joe's, I got this wine for $6.50. And I just said, I gotta try a wine from Spain that I've never seen. And I gave it a try, and guess what? It's actually very, very good. However, that's not what we're here to talk about today. So let's get down to business. The cocktail that I want to feature with you today is the Negroni. And I have done the Negroni with you before. If you check back in my YouTubes and on Facebook in my Doc G Wine and Spirits Review, and please like when you see it, my DGWSR on Facebook, hashtag, you'll find the spot. Maybe you won't, I don't know, it might be buried in the files, but it's there on YouTube for sure at DRL or at DRGLO53. So I'm not going to concentrate on that today, but I want to set it up as the background for the cocktail that I'm going to share with you. Given that we're moving into the springtime, I always like to look at the regular Negroni, which is a combination of I use a barrel-aged gin, but you can use any good gin. I have one here that I'm going to share with you for this white Negroni. It's simply gin, Campari, and red vermouth, sweet vermouth they call it. I like to use the Carpano Antico formula. And I've done that one with you, and that's a fantastic drink all year round, but it's especially great in the winter and in the colder months. Kind of warms you up. Powerful drink. It's straight alcohol, and it's a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio. If you want to make yourself a double, you just go to 2 ounces instead of 1 ounce. So I'm not going to feature that today. So this Campari is going to get set aside. The gin is not going to get set aside because I'm going to need that gin. But what I'm going to feature for you today is what is called a Negroni Bianco, or a white Negroni. It will be white. It will not be red like the Campari is what makes the Campari and the vermouth make this a very deep ruby colored cocktail. This one is not going to be that way. This one, excuse me, got to keep the whistle wet. This one is going to be white, and it's going to be with ingredients that are all basically clear. So I'm going to actually make it here in front of you, and then I'm going to sip it and give you my honest assessment. I've had it before. I think it's a cocktail that you would love. So when you go on the internet to talk about the white Negroni, before we actually get into it, you're going to find, I just had, and what kind of inspired me to do this spot today was my wife and I went out to a local restaurant here that features really good craft cocktails, and I saw a white Negroni on the menu, and I figured, I'm going to try that. Well, it came back and it was yellow. It wasn't what I was expecting because I'm not used to the Negroni. If you look on the internet, you're going to see a little bit of the mixologist debate back and forth about what's the right Negroni. Well, the classic Negroni, or that you'll see a lot on the internet, is one made with a liqueur from France called Suze, and a bitter, it's called Lillet. It's made from wine spirits, and it kind of is like an aperitif, similar to what I'm going to share with you. However, the Suze is a gentian liqueur, and you can look that up. I'm not really going to get into that because I'm not using it, but the distinguishing feature of it is that it's yellow. So when you make a white Negroni with that recipe, it really should be called a yellow Negroni because it's not clear. I don't particularly care for the Lillet, Suze, and gin combination Negroni. I like the Bianco Negroni made with Bianco by Luxardo. And this was not available until about 2016. Many of you, and I just brought it on the table here as a prop, are familiar with the Luxardo Maraschino. And I use this in a couple cocktails, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's a little bit sweet, but you put it in with something bitter, and it makes some really fantastic drinks. I'm not here to feature that today, but I want you to notice that they're both made by Luxardo. But we're going to focus on the Luxardo Bitter Bianco today as the star of the show for this white Negroni, because without it, you would not have the Negroni Bianco. So in order to make that, it's again the same ratio. It's a 1:1:1 ratio. So I'm going to make a double. I had this glass here. It was pre-chilled. It got a little, waiting to get this set up, it kind of got a little bit warm, but it'll still be okay. So the three ingredients that you're going to need: your gin is your base, and I've chosen this one. They say to use a London dry style. This is a new gin that I've come across called Martin Miller's. Martin Miller's gin. And it is made in England, but they use water from Iceland. I don't know why that makes it special, but I can only tell you this is a fantastically smooth gin, classic blending gin, great in a gin and tonic. I've had it in a couple martinis already, so it's going to serve as the base for our drink today. The second ingredient is you're going to need yourself a white vermouth. And I like the Carpano brand. I use the Carpano Antica red vermouth. I love their Carpano Antica dry vermouth. And of course, I've already told you, you need the Luxardo Bitter Bianco. So now if you were to taste this alone, and I'm going to actually do that for you, because they do sip these alone, but I want to give you a little bit of a taste profile. Pardon, I don't have it in a glass. I'm just going to use my mixing glass here. You can smell the bitterness, but it's not strong like Campari. It's sweetness, but it's sweet and bitter at the same time. And it is, that's really very good. I could see putting this together in a glass, and I'll show you the Luxardo website. They have 100 ways for you to use the Luxardo Bitter Bianco. But right now, we're going to craft ourselves a Negroni Bianco. So I always like to start with a gin. We've got our mixer here, already filled with ice. This is not a drink that you would pour over the ice. That's why you want the chilled glass. Because I find with these cocktails that are straight alcohol, they tend to lose what they were supposed to be when you, that was 2 ounces by the way, but the ice tends to water them down and they lose that flavor that you want because it just gets watered down. It doesn't make it any less potent, it just kills the flavor. And these cocktails, I always like, if you just want to get bombed, just go take a shot of whiskey. But this is something you can sip, you don't get bombed, you take your time with it. It's something you can enjoy and sip, keep it cold for a good half an hour. So there's your Carpano dry, and then of course the star of the show, the Luxardo Bitter Bianco. And so I've made a double. I've made 2 ounces, so there's 6 ounces of straight alcohol in this glass. And the Bitter Bianco is 30% alcohol, so 15%. It's 30%, so it's 15%. It's 15%, 30 alcohol by volume, so it's 30 ABV. The Carpano, the dry, is it's very light, but it does have an ABV, and I can't find it on the bottle. But your vermouths are usually somewhere around 15 to 18% ABV, and this gin happens to be 40% ABV. So we've got an alcohol bomb here, so you have to be very careful. Only have one of these, as I always tell you. Drunkenness is not appealing to me. I do love liquors, I love wines, but drunkenness, you have to watch what you're doing. So much for the public service announcement. Shake it up. Just give it a gentle shake. This is not one of those shaken versus stirred moments. Pour it into your glass. I like to use this glass. I have others that I use, and you notice it's white. And that's really what I wanted to get across to you. So you have in front of you, my friends, you might want to put a few bitters in here. I'm choosing not to. You can garnish it with a lemon, a grapefruit. I would go with a lime because it's got kind of a citrusy overtone. This Luxardo Bianco has a little bit of a citrus note to it. So here we go. Cheers, my friends. Give me a second to process this and I'll share the results with you. Very nice. Perfect, quintessential spring, summer cocktail. Could be a little colder, and my glass just got warmed up as I was setting up for this spot. I would prefer a little colder. The cold keeps that alcohol in check so it doesn't become too boozy. So there you have it, my friends. I just wanted to come on, welcome you to April. I don't know if you follow college basketball, but I've got the 2 -- picks. I got Houston and Florida. That's never happened to me, and I don't really care about either team. But so we'll see what happens at the end of March Madness as we roll into April. So with that said, I will add some information to my post to give you some background. The website for Luxardo is a fantastic starting point. I'm going to show you that. I'll post that little argument about the classic Negroni. You may like the Negroni that's made with Suze and Lillet. I don't dislike it, but I prefer this one much better. So there you have it. To start the month, our cocktail of the month is the Negroni Bianco. Until we meet again, cheers, and go whichever team you're rooting for.